Thank you, Jay, and I'm very pleased to be here. Of course, we are not a mining company. This is a true graphene production company, but I'm really looking forward to sharing more about what we do. Our forward-looking statements. So what does Hydrograph do? We provably produce the highest quality graphene in the industry at the greatest cost efficiency. How do we do that? We have a patented explosion synthesis process. So exactly as it sounds, we blow up hydrocarbon gases, and we do that very, very effectively. That is a CAD rendition of our reactor. Effectively, it is 2 meters by 2 meters. We pump in acetylene, which I'm sure most of you would know is a welding gas. It is very volatile, so you can imagine it's bringing a lot of energy with it. Because of that, we have virtually no energy requirement in our production process. So we pump in, you can see those cylinders, those are carbon steel chambers. We pump acetylene and oxygen into those chambers. We have electrodes at the top and bottom. They fire in synchrony. It destabilizes the molecules, and all of the carbon that was in the acetylene gets crystallized into pure graphene powder. So it's a gas phase reaction. Most of you know acetylene is a highly pure gas. It is just C2H2. There's nothing else that can find its way into the graphene. If anyone is having a technical background, you're wondering where the hydrogen and oxygen is going, that is then exhausted as syngas. That is not a greenhouse gas, that's a commodity gas. At scale, we will arrange an offtake agreement for that. Let's get into the economics because that's really what makes this story so exciting. So the CapEx requirement on these units is less than $500,000, significantly less than $500,000. We can build these units in a matter of months. We can build them concurrently. We sell 1 ton of graphene for a starting price of about $250,000. That price based on how we functionalize. Functionalization really means adding chemical groups. We can increase the conductivity, potentially increase the surface area, all the way up to just shy of $1 million per ton. We are currently speaking with about 50 customers. I would say between 5 and 7 of those opportunities would have an annual consumption requirement of more than 1,000 metric tons. So you can see the opportunity that we have. Without disclosing our exact production costs, we operate, I would say, to say 60% margin would be very, very conservative. So it's a huge potential for growth. We're extremely excited, about this technology. And again, this is commercial. We have been producing for years. We are currently scaling up production and starting our first large-scale facility in the US. And now at this point, we are growing very rapidly. This is the team. You know myself, Kirsten Brewer, as effectively the first employee of this company. Created our first strategies, have really built the team that you see in front of you. I have a master's in material science and engineering. You can see Ranjith Divigalpitya. He spent 3 decades at 3M, specializing in graphene-like carbon coatings. He has more than 190 patents under his belt and has strongly contributed to our patent portfolio. Stephen Corkill is our VP Operations. He has designed and built all of our Hyperion reactors. And then notably, the brilliant Dr. Chris Sorensen, who's our VP R&D, he discovered this at Kansas State University. It was, as Jay mentions, a serendipitous really result. He was looking at aerosol gels for aerospace components, really just a scientific study. He was blowing up different hydrocarbon gases. At one moment, he did blow up his lab. And the resulting mixture, he thought, well, this is fluffy, black, like angel food cake. He put it under a scanning electron microscope and realized that in that one reaction, he had made the world's highest purity graphene. So I think with most of the most amazing things in science, he was not trying to make graphene. We are incredibly lucky to have really stumbled upon this technology. And of course, Hydrograph is committed to commercializing his discovery. Graphene, I'm guessing most people in this room know what graphene is. Graphite is effectively billions and billions of layers of graphene. We are, of course, synthetic. We do not use graphite as a feedstock. We use acetylene. But really, graphene is the strongest and most conductive material that has ever been discovered. It is a new material. It was only discovered in 2004. So you can imagine we're still kind of learning how to use it. The best thing about graphene, it's not competitive. It makes everything work better. You can put it in batteries, carbon fiber, internally as drug delivery systems. It can, of course, also be used with metals. I think moving forward, the future is really a mix of different nanomaterials. It might be graphene with other graphenes. It might be graphene that's doped with silver particles. But using graphene can reduce our reliance on rare earth minerals. And I think that moving forward, it's really going to usher in a new age of nanotechnology. If you imagine, the ages of man, they've really been defined by our materials. The Bronze Age all the way up to the age of silicon. I think silicon is a good example because it really fundamentally has changed so many industries. Graphene, quite like silicon, has extreme conductivity, but we also get the mechanical strength. So this is really going to open up a whole new world. And with nanomaterials, you have this ability to layer on functionalities. Normally with legacy materials, if you want to make something stronger, you might be making it more brittle. With nanomaterials, you can just add and add these layers. So it's really going to open up so many new opportunities. This is an important slide to understand. So this is slightly data that was published in 2017, and this is effectively an analysis of 300 companies worldwide claiming to produce graphene. We did not participate in this study. The Journal of Advanced Materials found that there is almost no high-quality graphene in the market as defined by the ISO. And the ISO defines less than 10 layers as graphene, more than 10 layers, that would then be graphite. They found that no company produces over 50% graphene content, with a majority producing less than 10%. Effectively meaning that most companies are producing graphite powder and not graphene. This, of course, does not have these superlative qualities that I mentioned previously. We do not face those challenges. Every single time we turn on our reactor, we make exactly the same type of graphene. Every time we've scaled up the reactor, we've also produced exactly the same type of graphene. So we make identical batches of pristine graphene at scale. We produce 99.8% pure carbon content graphene. It is 100% graphene, but the carbon content of our graphene is 99.8. We have a tiny amount of oxygen, and we find that actually strongly contributes to our conductivity because, of course, oxygen has 2 electrons, and that is lending that additional electron mobility. And we have been tested as pure by numerous labs and verified by the Graphene Council. So effectively, we have commodity gases. They are freely available. They are also low cost. And then we have our reactor, which you can imagine is really a bomb or a way to contain that explosion. And don't worry, all of our engineers are still alive. But we can produce these really with a modular system. We can add these units and put them online as customer demand grows. So we are not really constricted with a huge CapEx cost upfront. Target industries. So I know that I am short on time, so I'm going to kind of gloss over these, but really we are looking to see revenue for our shareholders as soon as possible. And with that, we are focused on composites and coatings. Composites are very quick to bring to market. They have very, very healthy margins. And you can really add on these functionalities like EMI shielding, anti-fouling coatings, and composites and coatings can really work well together. Lubricants, oil and gas companies often move quite slowly. Same for cement and concrete. Energy storage is hugely interesting, but the development cycles are a little bit longer. Our path to market, we do focus on our primary markets. Secondary markets, really everything apart, and that includes far more than lubricants and concrete. We are interested in, but we would need to partner with another company to really commercialize those. All of this work happens at the GEIC, and this is really our R&D center in Manchester where graphene was discovered in 2004. So this has become the dominant hotspot really for customers worldwide when they want to integrate graphene into their product line. It was here that we were connected with not only the US military, top-tier automotive companies, and really so many more. We have also been told, and granted this is anecdotal, that we are the most graphene-like graphene that the GEIC has ever seen, and we strongly outperform our competitors, often by a factor of 3 to 4 times. So we're incredibly lucky to really have this relationship. I'm going to kind of gloss over these just in the interest of time, but we are looking at an opportunity from an automotive company and also from a tactical fiber, and this would be with defense contractors and also chemical companies that we expect to close a contract on by the end of the year. And everything is, of course, patented, which you can view online. All of these slides are available on hydrograph.com. This is effectively our cap table. We are looking to list on NASDAQ by the end of the year, provided that we hit our commercial milestones. And as mentioned, growing quickly, very, very thrilled to have the support of Jay and have a technology, of course, presenting at a mining conference. So thank you everyone so much for your time.